everybody. I am UFC President Dana White. Over the next 12 months, we will stream over 250 live combats. I am UFC President Dana White. Over the next 12 months, we will stream over 200.
Thank you very much, Dana White. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Online. We're live and we're talking Deontay versus Dominic Brezeale for WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World. For those of you who don't know, now you're going to know. The fight is this weekend, Saturday, May the 18th, live on Showtime Boxing for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World. It's a PBC fight. And this is not only a PBC fight, it's a grudge match between Dominic Brezeale and Deontay Wilder. Wilder, the champion of WBC, the green and gold belt, the most prestigious belt in boxing. So, what I'm going to talk about today is a breakdown, things and areas I felt in this fight, in my opinion, as to what needs to happen to both fighters and how both fighters can win and how both fighters can lose. So let me bring myself back on the camera. Thanks for joining us, by the way. We appreciate it. Let's see here. Let's check and see this is running okay. Yes, Michael T. Good to see you in the room. Okay. For those of you wondering why I'm slightly pausing, it's because there has been, while I've been doing this, there's been advertisement going on in the background. So welcome to you who are joining us. So let's get into this. Brezeale versus Wilder. From the back, we know that Wilder and we know that Brezeale have got serious beef. When you've got serious beef and there's bad feeling between both camps, then you know that there's a possibility in this fight that game plans could go out the window. Now, both of the guys, as far as I'm concerned, are unorthodox in their approach. Wilder is not your stand-up, typical jab, right-hand boxer, hands up sort of thing. He's very much unorthodox, unconventional about the way he does things. Much like Dominic Brezeale, which makes this fight very, very interesting. Dominic Brezeale didn't come from a big amateur background, didn't go on and fight the Olympics. He wasn't one of them kind of guys. If you look at his background, how he got into boxing, he was more of a, I think, American football player. And then he kind of got into boxing that way round. So Brezeale was never known as a great amateur boxer. And he's done pretty well as a pro. The big right hand is key. Big, tall guy. Not great footwork, but has got a big right hand. And of course, we know him for fighting Anthony Joshua earlier in his career as a challenger, and Joshua being the champion at the time. First question I've got to ask myself is, has Dominic Brezeale improved since his fight against Anthony Joshua? Well, before we even talk about that, there's something I noticed in Dominic Brezeale. And it was actually at the outside where Dominic Brezeale and Anthony Joshua were squaring up. And I don't know if there's some intel that's going around. Intel meaning information that's come around the gyms about Dominic Brezeale's mental state, mentality. And when I say that, I mean in the sense that is he a guy that's easily shaken up, easily intimidated? Because it seemed to me that Anthony Joshua made it a point to let Dominic Brezeale know, no, A, you're not coming to the UK to do this. And B, when you're coming to the UK, you know, this is my turf. And I'm letting you know from the start, before you even get any bright ideas about saying that you're trouble, you get any bright ideas by saying that you are going to do something to me. I'm going to let you know from the get-go, it's not happening in this fight. As if to somebody said to Anthony Joshua, hey, listen, jump on Brezeale earlier, get into his head and let him know you're standing for no nonsense. Because it seems to me, Brezeale seems to be the type of guy, if you give him an inch, he'll take a nail. That sort of situation. That if you give Brezeale the opportunity to get confidence, he could take you out of there. And that's the sort of guy I see Brezeale being. And I think that's why Joshua jumped on him early at the thing. Listen, you're not coming here and doing that nonsense with me. You might say you're trouble, but you're not about that life. You're not that type of a guy. You're a nice guy. Don't try and be this bad man, because you're not. And it seems again with Deontay Wilder, he's going out of his way to talk about being, you know, he wants to kill Brezeale. He wants to, you know, almost to intimidate Brezeale with all these things being said. Hold on a second. Let me get this right for you. Hold on. Let me bring these guys back up for you, Brezeale and Wilder. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. Where were we for a second? So, yeah. Let me get back to this. Sorry, my apologies. Let's keep going. Right. Distractions. So, okay. So, I think that I think when you're fighting someone like Brezeale, you've got to jump at him early and intimidate him and make him have doubt in his mind. He may be a mentally weak guy. I don't know. But I've picked it up from Wilder and both Joshua, the way they're approaching Brezeale, that they're both jumping on him straight away and they're getting inside of Brezeale's mind. So I don't know if there's a weak point there or around the gyms where he can be easily intimidated. I don't know. Now, things I want to pick up about Dominic Brezeale, the challenger first, not the champion. The challenger. He's got the experience of fighting Anthony Joshua, and he's come back. And the guys he's fought since he's come back, a guy, well, it doesn't matter. He fought Ngannou, got dropped in the Ngannou fight. One thing about Brezeale, he's got heart. He'll get up if he's dropped, and he'll try and fight back. That's Brezeale. He's got heart. Brezeale's big punch is his right hand, the overhand right. He sets it up by feinting to the body, using jab to the body, and then slinging the right hand over the top. Brezeale is most effective when he gets onto the front foot. Brezeale on the front foot, using his long jab, keeping a guy at range, and then throwing the right hand down the middle or over the top. That's his best punch. That is Brezeale at his very best. That's the best you're going to get of Dominic Brezeale. Brezeale is ineffective off the back foot, meaning if you step to Brezeale and you push Brezeale back on the ropes, he's not as effective. His punching power is negated, which means you take his punching power away, his big punch, his overhand right, because he hasn't got the bow and arrow to get that and throw big looping overhand rights. So Brezeale is nullified when you get close to him or you back him up. If you're the guy who's got the long jab, you keep Brezeale at a distance. Brezeale is open. Despite Brezeale keeping his hands up, he's open all through the middle with the jab. You saw him when he fought Joshua. He's open through the middle for jabs. He's open through the middle for uppercuts. He might be able to block hooks. But a guy like Deontay Wilder, he doesn't block jabs. He doesn't block right hands. He catches his shot on his face like this. So he gets caught all the time. Go back and watch a Joshua fight. Even in Ngannou fight, he gets caught through the middle. And that's not good. That's not good at all when you're fighting a guy like Deontay Wilder. He doesn't move his head either. Brezeale's one of these guys that don't move his head. He comes forward in straight lines. He chugs forward in straight lines. So that means he's going to take the full impact of any punch that's taken. Now let's look at the champion, Deontay Wilder. For all the things that Deontay Wilder does, a lot of the things that people talk about Wilder, they don't give him props for his ever-improving jab. That jab is very powerful, the jab. And the jab is a very sneaky jab because it comes straight and sometimes it's got a curve to it. So it's kind of jab come hook. When I think that jab come hook could actually blind you, where he's able to put that right hand through the middle. So he can set it. I use the jab to set up there with the jab. So it will come at you like this. The jab comes at you like this. But sometimes, if you've got Deontay Wilder's jab, let me get myself in the camera. If you see Deontay Wilder's jab when it comes at you like this, I'm trying to get myself in the camera here. It'll come, but it will come. Let me try and get the hook at an angle. He'll come there at you. So instead of coming here, the jab will come like, I'm just trying to get the camera right away. There, like a hook. The jab, hook. So it kind of comes at you. It comes as a jab at you and then turns into a hook at the last minute. And when he puts the hook in there, so it's almost like it grabs your face and then he lands that right hand straight for the middle. Because it happens so quickly, you don't watch it. But look again, the jab comes out and they kind of turns it, like he almost like turns it and kind of holds your face in position. Then he knows he can hit you right. Once he gets that turn there, that's when he throws the right hand with full momentum and full power straight for the middle without no thinking. Straight through. There and drives it through. Bang, straight for the middle. And that right hand straight for the middle. And he gets you at the end of that. And when you're at the end of this punch here, right here, at the end of this here, and you get the full extension of Deontay Wilder's right hand, you're going down. And unfortunately for Mr. Brezeale, if he's going to come at Deontay Wilder with this style, he's got a decent jab, Brezeale, but he comes with this style at Deontay Wilder, walking forward. He's going to catch a jab at some point. Wilder bring the guard down and slam the right hand straight for the middle. And Dominic Brezeale, the great thing about Dominic Brezeale is he's a gunslinger, which means he's going to come out and he'll throw his bombs. He'll come at you. He'll try and come at you. He'll try and give it a go to land his own shots. The problem with that is he leaves himself open when he's landing his big shots. For the criticism of Deontay Wilder, when he gets you on the ropes and he gets you hurt, the wild stuff is when he's trying to finish you off. That's where he jumps all over you and tries to finish you off. But he is, for while people mock him for being wild in his finishing, he has he's got one of the best knockout percentages in the world today, and that's against top ranked opposition, not just guys low. He's taking his punching power right through. So wherever you rank Tyson Fury, he dropped Tyson Fury twice. Wherever you rank Ortiz, he dropped Ortiz twice. Wherever you rank Stavern, he dropped Stavern, and he knocked out Stavern. Okay, so we can go through, and he has knocked out Gerald Washington, Chris Arreola. Yeah, we can go for it. Even Svilka and what's his name, Duhaupas, who'd never been stopped to that point. So Wilder has got tremendous punching power, and these people say, well, Wilder can't box. Well, you've got Tyson Fury who can box. If you like your boxing, watch Tyson Fury. All right? But, you know, if you have a guy that boxes like Tyson Fury, who punches like Deontay Wilder, and he's got muscles like Anthony Joshua, you still wouldn't be happy because you'd say something else. So, you know, you just appreciate fighters for what they do. And I appreciate Wilder because, you know, for all you're saying here, what we say about Wilder, he could go on to be an all-time great puncher. Might be an all-time great boxer, but he'll be an all-time great puncher. And the thing about it is his defenses of the title are racking up quietly, and nobody's kind of talking about that. Use it as again. Go back to Wilder. Use the jab to slap the right hand. Some bad habits Wilder does have is when he's backing up against the ropes. Sometimes he pulls his hands away, and his hands are there. He's jumping away. When you do that and you jump away, you've got nothing to defend yourself. So you're open. All it is open for you to hit. Fortunately, the people that have boxed Wilder have been unable to capitalize on that. The other thing Wilder is, in terms of the jab, he has a habit of pulling back like this. So when you've got the jab with Wilder, you have to double up the jab with Wilder. Back him up. Another one who doesn't really like fighting up close, doubling up the jab and forcing Wilder back. Okay. Now, keys to victory for this fight. First of all, Dominic Brezeale, you've got to move your head. You've got to keep moving your head. You cannot afford Wilder to be able to time you with that right hand. Because what he's going to do is you're coming forward, he's going to grab that guard, he's going to be touching you with the jab, grabbing your guard that's holding you up, the hand up. He's going to pull that guard down, and he's going to bring the right hand straight for the middle. And he won't bring the guard down. He'll use the jab and turn it into the hook, pull the hand down and bring the right hand through. You don't see that. What you see is the jab. But as his hand touches the jab and turns, that's where the right hand's coming through. That's when he knows. And he does that with pinpoint accuracy. And if he hits Brezeale with that, Brezeale he's finished. All right? He's finished the fight. But this is a fight where I see Dominic Brezeale being more dangerous than Luis Ortiz and more dangerous than Tyson Fury for two reasons. First of all, reason number one, both Fury and Ortiz are traditional stand-up boxers out of that southpaw stance, out of the orthodox stance. Both guys very well schooled. Right? Ortiz and Fury from their amateur pedigrees, both very well schooled. Dominic Brezeale is a gunslinger, which means his punches could come for you any angle at any time, right? He's not traditionally going to come and he'll do the traditional jab, right hand, left hook. But because he's got that gunslinging style, the thing with Brezeale is there's every possibility Brezeale will come out and use that gunslinging style. So what Wilder has to do from the minute the bell goes from round one, he's got to stick that jab in Brezeale's face, force him onto the back foot, and when he gets a chance, land that right hand straight through the middle. Because Brezeale, for me, can't block straight punches. He cannot block straight punches. So, but Wilder also has to be careful that he's not in range to be getting hit with that overhand right. Right? When he's got to make sure he's not in range to get caught with that overhand right. So he's got to make sure he measures his distance between him and Brezeale and doesn't get cracked over the top with the right hand. So he's got to make sure he's out of range, or just a little bit out of range. In enough range to land his own right hand, but out of range for Brezeale to miss. Now, Brezeale's footwork is what could let him down in the fight because he's slow on his feet. He's not the quickest on his feet, and he's flat-footed and pondering. He's not the fastest heavyweight either. So Deontay Wilder's overall speed, power, and athleticism should be key factors in the fight. How do I see Wilder losing his fight? Well, obviously getting caught with something big, getting caught in a shootout. This is the type of guy you don't want to get caught in a shootout with Brezeale. He's the kind of guy that will sucker you into shootouts, and that's where Brezeale would actually will do best. Because when you're in a shootout or something like Brezeale, there's every possibility when you're trying to trade with Brezeale, the right hand comes over the top because he'll duck his head, and that right overhand right will come. The head will go, right hand will go over the top. But the thing is, the same things that Brezeale does for success in a shootout are the same things that are going to get him knocked out. Before Brezeale goes to throw the overhand right, he puts his head in a certain position before he chucks the overhand right, leaving his whole head exposed. To a guy who's got faster hands, and we'll see that's an opportunity that's a knockout opportunity. So Brezeale could get knocked out actually going for the knockout, if you get what I'm saying. He's one of those type of guys. Wilder, we saw against the Fury fight. In the Fury fight, he's an emotional kind of fighter. And if he gets too emotional and too wound up, the game plan can go out the window. And he might just be so wanting to go for the knockout, really trying to wind up big shots. He himself could get tagged. Recent events in boxing have shown that nobody's invincible. And everyone, no matter who you are, whether you're the heavyweight champion of the world, the welterweight champion of the world, the strawweight champion of the world, or just an area titleist, the bottom line is, if you have not done the right, you get your homework, you will get found out in boxing. So that's my thought. For me, I think Wilder, we're not appreciating Wilder enough as a champion. I think we need to appreciate the fact his jab is becoming far more effective. The right hand is the best punch, the best right punch in boxing is right hand. And we're talking historically now. We're not just talking about now. He could be one of the greatest punchers of all times, Deontay Wilder, and we need to acknowledge what we have in our midst. And he's the most destructive puncher in boxing today. I don't call him a boxer, I call him a puncher. Do you know what I mean? He uses his attributes to set up his big punches. Do you know what I mean? But he can box. He can box, Deontay Wilder. But that's not what I tune in to watch Deontay Wilder fight for. I don't sit down for Deontay Wilder fight and say, oh, right, I want to see how beautiful boxing skills from Deontay Wilder. I don't watch that. If I want to sit down and watch beautiful boxing skills, I'll watch Lomachenko. I'll watch Terence Crawford. I'll watch Alexander Usyk. I'll watch guys that have got a skill set for that. But if I want to see knockouts, I'm not going to sit down and watch Lomachenko. I'm not going to watch Crawford. Although he does, those two guys do get knockouts. I'm going to watch Wilder because I know I'm guaranteed a knockout there. That's what I'm looking. I'm looking to see how he's going to knock this guy out. And as for the sensitive people we have in the boxing community that are jolly come latelys, Deontay Wilder's comments on trying to kill somebody, those comments they're not new. I remember Tyson finishing an interview with Hussein when he threw the uppercut. He wanted to run his fist into the person's nose up inside to the brain. Yeah, And then Tyson said he wanted to eat Lennox Lewis's children. I mean, so this was all part and parcel of the sport. It ain't tennis. And for those who haven't forgotten, the art of boxing is to hit and not get hit. But when you're hitting somebody, you're looking to render them unconscious. So anybody who's squeamish about the comments that Deontay Wilder is making, let's remember what the sport is. And it's about rendering people unconscious. That's why people tune in to watch boxing most of the time, to see somebody get rendered unconscious. So let's just be aware of what we're talking about, what we're watching, and what we're being entertained by when we listen to certain people talk the way they do. They're putting their lives on the line. They're not politicians. They're not political leaders. They are what they are, boxers, and they're trained prize fighters. That's what they are. So do I condone what he says? Not particularly, but do I expect to hear it from his mouth? Yeah, he's a fighter. He'll say any garbage. So that's it. I'm not telling Deontay Wilder to go any platform, but that's what he's going to say. So if you choose Deontay Wilder to be your role model, then expect that to come out his mouth. Don't try and change him, man. That's the way the man is. So focus on the other things he talked about, like till this day. Why don't people talk about what he talks about till this day? Talk about that and what that really means, and the struggle. Talk about that. Why don't we focus on that? If you want to talk about role models, talk about that and that statement he was making. If you want to take him into being a political figure, then use that as a political figure. Not this stuff about him trying to deal with Brezeale and it's beef those two guys have got. I'd rather him say that and have beef with him with Brezeale, and they punch at one another, and whoever wins, wins. And after that, they can hug and say, you know what? Fair enough. Bad blood. We've settled it. One way or the other, we've settled it that way, rather than it turn to guns and knives and people getting shot. All right? I prefer it being handled in the ring like two men, and both men should be commended for this fight to happen and them doing it in ring. Right. So those are my thoughts on Brezeale versus Wilder. And the other thing I want to talk about is this. When we're talking about Virgil Hunter. Virgil Hunter can't save Dominic Brezeale. I'm afraid to say Virgil Hunter can't save Dominic Brezeale. Virgil Hunter is the type of guy you go to rehabilitate your career. Look at Virgil Hunter's career. Virgil Hunter's the guy you go to when you've been knocked out, or you have been knocked out. You go to him for a cuddle. That's what you go to Virgil Hunter for. But what makes Virgil Hunter a great trainer? Let me answer me this question. What makes Virgil Hunter a great trainer? Apart from what he did with Andre Ward, remember? Let's not knock what he did with Andre Ward. He had, since Andre Ward was a young boy, to work with Andre Ward. A lot of these guys that Virgil Hunter has, he's not trained these guys. So he's having to work with these guys. And for all the time Virgil Hunter was working with Amir Khan, what did he do with Amir Khan? Really? I mean, when we talk about trainers, don't tell me about their name. Don't tell me about the fighters they've worked with. Tell me about the improvements they've made with their fighter. So, for this fight against Wilder and Dominic Brezeale and his trainer, Virgil Hunter, I believe. If Virgil Hunter is his trainer, I want to see with Virgil Hunter, I want to see Brezeale moving his head, not staying on the line, which means don't stay in the line of Wilder. Be off the line all the time. Wilder's throwing a jab, slipping. Once you slip, then Wilder can't set up that left hand to put that right hand through the middle. Don't be on that line. Don't be straight on the line. Move your head from side to side. Move your head. Upper body movement, more upper body movement here, and lots more feints. Moving your head. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. And the Brezeale quicking up his feet, doubling up the jab, being busy, putting Wilder onto the back foot, not allowing Wilder to get that long bow and arrow out and get the hand out there and driving the right hand through. I want to see Brezeale slipping, using the hands, cuffing shots, moving forward, getting close into the Wilder and digging in body shots in. I want to see something different. I want to see Brezeale being aggressive, but I want to see him being smart about his aggression. He has to work behind a double jab. He has to work behind a double jab. And he has to let Deontay Wilder know early, not today, son. Not today, son. You're not going to line up that jab and that right hand. So he has to throw something off. He's got to throw Deontay off his game plan. Otherwise, it could be nighty-night for Mr. Brezeale very early in this fight, within the first 4 to 5 rounds. Those are my thoughts. Love to know what you think. Please leave your comments in the comment section as always. I would really appreciate it. So, thank you as always for watching. This has been BWTM Online doing the preview for Wilder versus Brezeale. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments, and hit that notification button. And very, very important, please share the video across social media. Wilder versus Brezeale, Saturday, May 18th. Be there.